911, what is your emergency?
You gotta help me. I keep hearing some roaring and electricity in the nearby forest. They kept chasing me. I barely made it out alive. Please, help. Alright. I'm outside right now trying to find this Dr. Hemos. More like Dr. Evil Vampire, am I right? Anyways, it must be as cold here in this forest as the center of a hot pocket. Hope I won't have to stay here for too long. Definitely some creepy sounds going on here. Okay, damn. No sign of him. But what is this? A cord? Damn. This is a shocking twist. Suggs is involved in this. I'm gonna need the ultimate arsenal. That roar. I gotta get out. Right now. Ah yes. Windows 3.1. It must have been mind-blowing at the time because it had a graphical user interface. I imagine they didn't really know what software to include for it because it was brand new. Obviously they had a bunch of adult stuff, but they also had edutainment and even interactive movies. I definitely gotta play the last two more often for this channel. Since the trends weren't really set, I find that even the terrible stuff is even at least interesting. T.R.A.X, Track of the Vampire, seemed like one of the more interesting ones of the bunch. Unfortunately, no. This isn't a reference to T.R.A.X, which is a record label that had some gabber. But of course I had to choose some hardcore techno, at least the hardest that I can find in Epidemic Sound, for the background music for this video. The reviews for this weren't really the best, with the only positive review being a retrospective one. It is absolutely cheesy, so I definitely had to try it out. Is it cheese that's worth having, or should you let it be moldy? Stay tuned to find out.
Who's that pointing and clicking his way to internet fame? He might be a little too cool for your mainstream kind of games. But if you like retro consoles and obscure PC stuff, then you might just be hip enough for this pretentious hipster.
Before I get into the game itself, I have to talk about how weird the release of this is and how hip they tried to become. It was developed by Ground Zero Productions, and I actually can't find any info on them. But from what I could tell, this was their only game. It's an FMV experience, but one that aims to be accessible to all. It has a very simple gameplay style and it features nearly an hour of footage. So yeah, it shows how fast you can beat this game. It's also known to have 3D sound, whatever that means. Not only was it released for Windows 3.1 a bit after its release, but it's been ported and announced for a console called Pippin at World. I never even heard of this console, but looking at it, it looks like some weird version of the Philips CDI. It was then released as an adventure CD, kinda like a choose your own adventure novel. I could definitely imagine how annoying it was at the time, because you use a CD player and you couldn't just skip to the next track. When it says go to track 16 when you're on like track 2, you have to keep skipping it until you reach that track. Oh man, I would have been tired of that. So with a title like T.R.A.X, what is this game about? Well, it is quite weird. I'm sure you assume that some 911 calls have to be of a more paranormal nature. What do they do with those? They are referred to a group of COVID agents. They are referred to a group of secret agents called T.R.A.X. What does that stand for? Trace, research, analyze, and exterminate. I gotta love it when you do acronyms that don't really work. For example, this is an FMV game, full of cheesiness. You then direct two agents, one of them being Officer Graves. And wait, what? This is the reason why I wanted to play this. I could immediately tell who this was. Remember Mortal Kombat Annihilation? Yup, this guy is Motaro. It turns out he's not really famous for that though. He was actually an American gladiator, and well, look at that. Talk about luscious locks. He deals with a 911 phone call about a vampire attacking a woman. It turns out this vampire is a former doctor named Dr. Hemos. He has his own evil laboratory and is known to have multiple stages of vampirism. Of course, the higher the stage of vampirism, the more evil and powerful he is. The next 911 call is about a woman in hiding who lost her eyes. Officer Walken is the other officer. She finds out that a serial killer named Suggs was resurrected and has electric powers. It is up to both of them to stop the cases and perhaps work together in them too, since they may or may not be connected. To show how ridiculous this gets, Dr. Hemos works for a late-night dating service alongside other vampires, where guys who work the graveyard shift go on dates with them, since they can't wake up early enough for the other dates. They of course can become victims to them.
Work the swing shift?
My love life used to do the graveyard shift.
Can't date until real late.
I thought it was too late for me. Then I found out about late date.
With Suggs, he was a serial killer whose organs were donated when he was executed. When he came back to life, he wanted them back for himself. Yeah, definitely way better than the Mummy since this came out first. The intro to Graves is my favorite part. Look at how ridiculous these nicknames are for these creatures. And this magic bullet? I'm actually surprised that other paranormal media did have special bullets like that. Considering just how dangerous that forest was, I definitely had to make my own bullet. Alright, here's my giant bullet. The only one that can take that fang job Dr. Hemos down. Yeah, it doesn't look like silver, but it is. It's just a painted on type to hide the fact that it is, so that they won't suspect it. The silver is for the hairballs. Now, time to add the components to them. Holy water, you know this can take down practically anything. Time to test it. Oh geez, yeah, that definitely works. Salt, known for purifying everything. Wooden splints and pyro agents, how about both at once? Matches is the best answer to this. And finally, the classified item. But I will indulge into this and tell you what it is. The item is love. Love conquers all. So, what is the actual gameplay of this? Well, if it was an adventure CD, it's gotta be fairly simple. In fact, I'm just gonna let the computer explain it all.
Welcome to T.R.A.X interface. You can think of me as a digital ghost. I am your interface with the T.R.A.X officers you will deploy. I will offer you options for deployment. But as stated by the T.R.A.X charter, you, a living, non-tainted human, must make the decisions. I will clearly print your options on the screen, like this. As the decision becomes more urgent, the colors will shift from green to yellow to red. If you do not select an option in time, the officer will select his own. I do not recommend this. The interface is activated. Good luck, and please stand by for the next 911 referral.
And yes, because of this, the gameplay of this is super shallow and short. It took me like 15 minutes to beat this, and that was with tons of wrong choices, mostly just to see what would happen. If you look at the long play on YouTube, it's only like 30 minutes long. Although to be fair, part of it is because you can press the F key to skip the cutscenes, which makes it feel like you can do the ultimate speedrun. I just can't imagine how annoying this would have been if you had to watch all the cutscenes every playthrough you did. I would have got annoyed at this game so fast. So of course, you gotta judge how it is by its plot, and I gotta say this is pure trash cinema. I absolutely love just how cheesy this is. They say all these ridiculous lines, you've got these similes and these puns that they just keep saying, and I never got tired of it. I definitely have to show some highlights of it. I mean, how ridiculous are these really?
Try to pull up the license number. Yeah, let's see. 3JYW666. Okay, T.R.A.X, I'm walking around the building. The place is lit up like a Christmas tree from hell. I don't know what Hemos does here, but I know it ain't covered by Medicare. Real nice. What do we got in here? Oh, lovely. Spare body parts. Non-paying customer. Looks like we got the head of the operation.
It also completely fails to be scary. I mean, the scariest part is this computer character smiling. I mean, goddamn, it might be the scariest smile I've ever seen. The game overs are funny as well, because it just leads to the credits and no main menu. The game just exits back to the Windows 3.1 user interface. And like, why add this effect in one of the officer briefings? Is it just them going like, oh my god, look at all these cool effects we can use, better spam them? I just wish this was more trashy. I mean, they did say that they wanted to make this accessible for teens, but if you're gonna make trash cinema, you have to add some nudity and some gore to it. Still, the combination of the plot and just how ridiculous and cheesy this is, it makes this worth playing. If you do have 45 minutes to spare, definitely check this out. Alright, I think I'm about as ready as a teenage boy going to prom. Wait, the court seems to be gone. Hopefully there's no sign of him. What was that? That damn roar. Dr. Hemos must be close. Well, take this! Well, that didn't work. Gotta run. Oh no. Oh no. Ah! Ah!
Life functions failing. Your command of T.R.A.X has been an abject failure. You wasted the lives of 2 officers and failed to capture or terminate either the succubi, Hemos, or Sugs. You are finished here. We will be watching you. If you divulge any knowledge of T.R.A.X or our activities, you will be exterminated.